Hello, everyone, and welcome to another installment of the Super Mario Odyssey 80% tournament here on GSA. Today we have LilKirbs14 versus Suisaiga's in the winner's final. This is going to be a very hype race. I am commentating with Parisqua. How you doing today?
Yo, what's up, guys? I'm doing really good. I'm really excited for this race.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be a really hype race. Both these runners being very, very good at the game. As we saw the other day, LilKirbs actually getting a tie with Stravos, I believe, a tie to the frame. So we know he can pull off a lot here in these races.
For sure, for sure. Both of these being top runners, both runners holding the world record at some point. So, yeah, I think it'll be really interesting.
Yeah, like you said, both these runners actually having the 80% world record at some point in time. And so we know both these runners can pull off literally every single strat probably. They're definitely very consistent if they have gone on the world record before. So anything can happen in this race. It's definitely going to be an exciting one.
Yeah, for sure. So, we're getting ready to start here in a second.
Yeah, both ready runners getting to the start screen here. We're going to start the race momentarily. Okay, the runners are getting the countdown right now, and we should be starting this race any second now. And just like that, we are off. Going to be starting off this race in Cap Kingdom as per usual. Nothing too special here in this kingdom. The biggest thing to note is just the left side at the very end. If both runners are able to get that trick at the end, then they should be coming out of here with a clean cap.
Yeah, this kingdom doesn't have a whole lot to it, so it's basically been optimized as much as possible. Every little thing that can possibly save time, we've pretty much figured out at this point, so it's kind of all about just getting through it. Muscle memory plays a big part, of course. This is probably the kingdom you see the most. So, yeah.
Yeah, we go, since this is the first kingdom, these top level runners go for literally everything. Every piece of movement tech you can think of, they go for here. And the first thing to note here right at the beginning is they're going to be pulling this lever and they're going to be going to first person mode to skip part of this cutscene, the panning part, and that saves about a second here.
Yeah, that concept can be used a few places. And for one, if you're like talking to shopkeepers, you can go into first person. It basically just kind of skips the camera panning cutscene. It can save a little bit of time.
Yeah, for sure. Now runners are going to be doing a trick that's called frog vectoring. They're going to be going diagonally while in the air, while captured as the frog, just to go quicker while in the air. And now both runners are going to be setting up for a left side here. Okay, this looks good from Curbs. Looks good from Suisaiga. Both runners getting it. This is an extremely close cap kingdom here. Anything can happen right now with this cap. This is like,
yeah,
extremely close.
Yeah, I mean, like I was saying, since it's so optimized, if you're not making any major mistakes, you're not going to be losing that much time here. So that's really notable here. They're leaving almost tied. LilKirbs just a little bit of a lead on Sui at the moment.
Yeah, Curb is probably having maybe a second lead or so right now, but that's what we should expect coming out of Cap Kingdom. This can probably being, I would argue, the easiest one we're going to see.
Yeah. It only gets harder from here, especially Cascade on 1.0 is especially harder because of the first moon skip, which we'll see in a second. Although with the new water first moon skip that has been found recently, it's actually become significantly easier than it was before.
Yeah, and both runners going for that right now. Looks like Curbs is opting for the wall jump method, and same for Suisaiga. No, Suisaiga taking a bonk there, falling back into the water and having to reset up for the trick.
Yeah.
Very unfortunate.
Yeah, but that's one of the nice things about the new water first moon skip is that if you mess it up, it's not too hard to back it up. Though that is really unfortunate to happen in a race, but he backed it up pretty well there.
Oh no, Suisaiga missing damage skip too. This cascade is not going in favor for Suisaiga. I think Suisaiga just being a little bit tilted from missing first moon skip a little bit. He has to get back on his feet a little bit.
Yeah.
Hopefully finish out this cascade strong.
Hopefully he can catch a bit of a break here on Madame Brutal.
Oh my god, both runners being synced on different phases. Hey, even considering all the mistakes that Suisaiga's made so far, he's really not that far behind. I would say he's maybe 10 seconds behind at most.
Yeah,
nothing that he can't recover from.
Yeah, especially in Cascade this early on. 10 seconds is not a safe lead at all for Curbs. So he could easily make this up if Curbs is not careful.
Okay, both runners are going to be grabbing 2 more moons before leaving this kingdom here. You need 5 to leave this kingdom, and because they skipped the first one, they have to get 2 after the boss fight here. So they're going to be getting the moon on the cliff up here, and then they're going to be jumping down to the chest moon and using moon clip to clip through the ceiling and get up to the Odyssey a bit faster. Let's see if both runners can pull that off. Okay, Curbs setting up for the moon clip. Looks like he got it. That looks good. Oh no, Curbs falling into the water below. This is very unfortunate. Wait, or what? Did I just lag? I'm so confused. I think I'm lagging.
Yeah, I'm lagging a bit here, too. But we'll actually be seeing that moon clip concept be used again later in Wood Kingdom.
Yeah, for sure. That Wood Kingdom is where it's most notable because we use it for the nut clip trick, which saves 30 seconds there, but we'll get more in detail with that once we get there. For now, both runners are going to be moving on to the Sand Kingdom. And it looks like Curbs just landed in the Sand Kingdom here. Gonna be going for the moon at the top of this building here, and then the pipe moon here coming up.
Yeah, I'd say Sand is probably the first like really difficult trick or kingdom, especially with tricks like Dram and Sphinx Clip. I'd say this is the first kingdom where you can really start to lose a lot of time.
Yeah, this is the first kingdom where a lead chance can definitely happen if you don't pull off every trick properly. And Suisaiga taking a bonk there, and his cap actually went on the lamppost there, and he managed to back that up really nicely. Nice reaction time to that for sure.
Yeah. So, in Suisaiga's race versus Chaos Pringle, he actually had a little bit of trouble with Sphinx Clip, almost missed the bird cycle, so let's hope that doesn't happen again.
We'll have to see, but for now, Curbs is going to be grabbing the moon on top of this arch right here, and then going to be setting up for a Dram strat. So we'll see if he can get the Dram strat here coming up right now. Going to be doing a triple jump into a backflip on the top of this tiny platform, into a long jump into an up throw, into 2 cap dives, and then going to be homing into the bulldo right before he captures the moon. Oh, no, he's not able to get Dram. That's huge. If Suisaiga is able to get Dram here, this definitely could be bad for Curbs. This could potentially be, maybe not a lead change, but very, very close.
Yeah, I think a missed dram loses about 10 seconds, so yeah,
Yeah,
that can almost be a lead change right there.
and Suisaiga opting for the Ice Dram version and getting it. Now you can see how close these runners are now. Suisaiga only being 1 moon behind. And something for Curves, even though he's in the lead, something as simple as maybe 1 missed Sphinx clip into a bonk, that can definitely come very close to a lead change. Like, this race is incredibly close right now.
Yeah, for sure. Like we said, just Sand Kingdom being the first kingdom that stuff like this can really start to happen. And, you know, with these, even like missing these little tricks like Dram or even just like a few bonks can be really significant.
Both runners opting for the double clip variant of this strat here. Looks like Curves got the second clip on the second try. We'll have to see what Suisaiga gets. Okay, Suisaiga gets the second clip on the first try. Gonna be saving just a little bit of time over Curves. And Curves moving on to the full bill section here.
Yeah, that double clip variant of Sphinx clip is faster. However, it actually can be a bit riskier because on that second clip, if you don't get it within the first few tries, that bird cycle.
Suisaiga missing the boxer with the full bill. This is, okay, like Prescott was saying, this is very bad because I don't know if he's going to be able to make the bird cycle now. This is going to be very rough for him. That loses a ton of time missing that bullet bill. That's like huge. That's like the big, or like one of the biggest mistakes you can make before getting to the bird.
He probably can still make it if he goes fast, but yeah, that's definitely very unfortunate of that to happen. Yeah, that's one of the things about Sand is after Sphinx, you really kind of got to book it to make that bird cycle.
And we can see Curves having no issue with the bird cycle, getting like an almost perfect bird cycle here, the moon being right next to him. We'll have to see what happens for Suisaiga here. Where the bird's going to be. Okay, the bird's going to be... Okay, he's going to make the cycle, but the bird's in a very awkward location. He's going to be definitely going to be losing time to this bird. And Curb's going for notes, getting it very clean there. Curb saving a ton of time over Suisaiga in this sand, for sure. And coming out ahead.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of interested to see what these runners do in Lake, because Lake Clip, a lot of runners have started to add, and I know that Suisaiga has been experimenting with it, so I'm actually interested to see if either of these runners will be doing any Lake Clip shenanigans.
Yeah, and I don't think Curbs goes for Lake Clip in his runs yet. I'm not completely sure, but if Suisaiga opts to go for Lake Clip and Curbs doesn't, that could definitely put Suisaiga back in the race for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Yeah, that's really... Lake Clip is kind of interesting because it was actually found a long time ago, but it's only been recently added. It was believed to be a BTT-only trick a while ago, but now runners are actually starting to add it. So that just goes to show, as the game gets more optimized, runners will look more and more to save more time.
Yeah, for sure. With how little time we can save in this run currently, the runners are going for like almost everything at this point. Like, runners are extremely desperate for time save.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we'll have to see what Curbs opts to do here. Right after he grabs the zipper moon at the end of this hallway, we'll be seeing if he opts to go for Lake Clip or not. Okay, he's grabbing the moon. And it looks like he is not opting to do Lake Clip. Let's see if Suisaiga opts to do it here. This could maybe even spell a lead change if Suisaiga is able to pull this off nice and quickly. And it looks like Suisaiga is opting to go for Lake Clip. Okay, so this is interesting. We're seeing two completely different routes here from the runners. Suisaiga having a lot of trouble getting Cappy through the wall here properly to pull off the clip.
Yeah, this trick is very precise. You have to be in the exact right position. There's just a tiny little seam in the wall that you can throw Cappy through. And if your position's not perfect, then you're not going to get it.
Hey, this is going to be interesting. I'm curious if Suisaiga is going to come out on top with that messy Lake Clip or not. Or if Curbs playing it safe is going to come out on top just by doing Rango. This is definitely going to be really interesting.
Yeah. It really depends on how Curbs Lake goes, because with the sloppiness in the lake clip, I doubt he'll be saving that much time over normal route.
So Suisaiga having some trouble getting that down throw there. What runners actually do now is they use the Pro Controller for like a majority of the run, but as they're warping to the checkpoint for late clip, they switch over to Joy-Cons to do that down throw to capture that fish faster, and then go back to Pro-Con. So it's very interesting to see that they're switching controllers just for a whole like 1 second of time save.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, again, that just goes to show, as we get more and more desperate for time save, we'll really do anything. Yeah, that's just one of the unfortunate things about Pro Controllers, is for whatever reason, they cannot do down throws.
So Suisaiga actually losing a ton of time off his late clip here. It was not very good at all. It took him way too many tries. So Curbs is going to be keeping the lead here going into Wooded.
Yeah, for sure. Unfortunately, a pretty sloppy late clip. However, I do respect that he went for it in a race in the first place. That does have to take a lot of bravery to go for something that difficult in a race like this. So, yeah, definitely pretty respectable.
Yeah, and both runners are going to be moving on to the Wooded Kingdom now. The Wooded Kingdom probably being the biggest kingdom for lead changes in races. If anything goes wrong on Nut Clip, that definitely can be a huge lead change, because if you make a mistake on Nut Clip, that's like a huge time loss potentially.
Yeah, absolutely.
Since with Nut Clip you can either die or fall into deep woods, and both of those being a huge time loss. Falling into deep woods definitely being the bigger one, because then you have to find your way out because you are not able to warp out of deep woods. Okay, we'll have to see. Curbs getting to the spot for Nut Clip here. Going to be setting up for it. Okay, let's see what Curbs can do with this Nut Clip here. This looks like a good clip. Looks like he'll be able to.
Good.
Yeah,
looks like
it
does.
Okay, let's see what he's able to do with this out of bounds. Okay, this is a very quick out of bounds section here from Curbs. He's speeding right now. He's flying through the stage. And perfect nut clip from here from Curbs.
Yeah, that was an amazing nut clip. Like Cheese James was saying, any mistake in nut clip can be very costly. Missing nut clip is like 30 seconds gone. Combined with, like, if you fall in the out of bounds, you're basically guaranteed to either fall back inbounds and have to go do the normal route, or fall into deep woods, which are both very huge time sinks. So it looks like both runners pulling it off pretty quickly here, though.
Yeah, for sure. Now, Curb is going to be going for 2 more mins before signing up for the Flower Road Skip trick, which is like the next biggest time loss these runners can take if they don't pull it off right.
So both runners having pretty clean wooded so far. No real big mistakes from either runner.
Okay, as soon as this cutscene ends for Curbs, he's going to be setting up for a Flower Road Skip. If he does not get this trick, like if he dies on this trick, I believe Suisaiga could be back in the lead.
Yeah, or at least like tie. Yeah, actually, yeah, he'd probably be in the lead if at that point. But it looks like Curbs gets it with no issue here.
Oh, missing the spin pen on that, not getting it second try. You're going to be entering the tower before doing the Spirit Skip.
Alright, so now Suisaiga will go for Flower Road Skip. Let's see what he's got. That looks good, and he gets it.
And Curb is going to be finishing off the tower here. He's going to be going for the Spirit Skip right about now.
Yeah, similar to Lake Clip, the whole idea here is that the multi-moon cutscene after beating Spewer is very long, so the idea is to skip that entirely, similar with Lake Cliff. I believe it saves about 5 seconds if you do it optimally here. So yeah, definitely worth going for.
Okay, Curb is going to be entering the flooded pipeways now. If he's able to pull this off clean, he should get all the time saved from the Spirit Skip, and Suicide are going to be doing the Spirit Skip right now as well.
So this flooded pipeways room can actually be pretty tricky because any little movement mistake can cause you to miss the cycle and lose a bunch of time. It's a cycle-based room, so you have to make sure you're on track to beat to make the cycle, and any little mistake can cause you to miss it.
Yeah, but Curb's having no issues with it, going to be moving on to the Cloud Kingdom. And let's see if Suisaiga can do the same. And it looks like Suisaiga made the cycle. Yep, having no issue with it. This is an incredible run from both runners here. The pace that both these runners on is like crazy right now.
Yeah, a 3x exit in a race for Curbs is amazing, and Sui's gonna have a pretty good exit here as well.
Yeah, it seems like Curbs has made like no big mistake yet in his run, and he's playing like almost perfect at this point.
Yeah, so now entering Cloud Kingdom, perhaps more simple than it may seem, or looks more simple than it is. It doesn't look like too much happening, but there's actually going to be quite a few strats that these runners will be going for here, so we'll make sure to point those out. So the first thing is these quick hat grabs, and he's basically just grabbing the hat right as Bowser throws it, and then what you see he did there is he actually dove behind Bowser, and what that does is manipulate how many platforms that Bowser will jump, which can save about a second over the fight.
Yeah, exactly. And Curb's going for the final instant hat capture here. This one definitely being the easiest out of the three, because you can take a damage boost before collecting the hat, and the timing overall it's just more lenient.
Yeah, absolutely.
And as you can see, Curbs is playing so good that he's a whole Bowser fight ahead right now, or like half a Bowser fight ahead, I would say, which is just ridiculous.
Yeah, absolutely. Curb's playing very well in this race. However, I also don't want to downplay. Suisaiga also playing very well. Made a few little mistakes like Dino Skip and FMS, but, you know, other than that, he's been playing pretty solid as well. Curbs has just had a little bit cleaner movement throughout, which has allowed him to take this lead into Lost.
Yeah, Lost Kingdom being a very scary kingdom because pretty much, we like to say pretty much every moon has some sort of risk along with it. You can pretty much die. Yeah. You can pretty much like almost die on every single moon if you don't play it right. And a perfect example of that would be the butterfly moon right here. If you don't do this movement perfectly, you're going to be falling back. You're going to be falling into the poison and going all the way back to the start.
Yeah, that's basically, like Cheese James was saying, basically everything can go wrong in this kingdom. You're surrounded by poison that you can fall into at any second. Of course, you can also trigger Klepto, which loses probably well over a minute. So yeah, there's no real breather moment in this kingdom.
But it looks like both runners having no problems with this kingdom so far. They're both playing this really, really well.
Yeah, Lost Kingdom, although it is scary, it's also really fast-paced, and if it's pulled off well, it can actually be extremely fun to watch.
Curb is going to be going for the cage triple jump here. This is like the last hard part of the kingdom, and he gets it. Going to be grabbing the moon under the bridge here, and then going to be leaving and moving on to a night metro. Oh no, Curb's taking a death there right afterwards. So we should mention taking a death there can be intentional. You can do that intentional death warp back to the Odyssey, but he did intend to try to save it and not use the death warp strat. and if you tried to save it and then die afterwards, that's a lot slower than just doing the death warp originally. So he definitely lost a couple seconds there.
Yeah. Not dying there saves about 5 seconds. However, that's not that big of a deal because that's probably the least costly death in the whole run. So if he's gonna die anywhere, it's probably best to die there.
Yeah, for sure. And as you can see, Suisaiga got the backup without dying. So
yeah, so making up a little bit of time over curbs.
Exactly, yeah.
Alright, now entering Night Metro. Pretty straightforward. Most notable, of course, is the Mech Wiggler fight at the end. It's pretty easy to lose time there depending on what cycle you get, or what pattern you get with the Wiggler. It's RNG dependent, so you kind of, if you get lucky, you can get a really nice pattern and get it really quickly. And if you're not so lucky, then you might get a really bad pattern and not get it as quickly, or possibly even 3 cycle, which is devastating. Let's hope that doesn't happen to either of these runners.
Yeah, but before that, you gotta deal with the Metro Tower here. This is like a pretty difficult part of the kingdom, where it's just a vertical tower you gotta climb up, and then gonna be long jumping across to get to the end of it.
Yeah, similar to the Pipeways room in Wooded, this is a cycle-based room, so your movement has to be clean throughout, or else you might miss some cycles.
Yeah, for sure. But it looks like Curbs was able to get all the cycles he wanted and got to the top of the tower very quickly. Let's hope Suisaiga can do the same thing here. Yeah, and it looked like Suisaiga got the cycle he wanted to make. Now all he has to do is climb to the top using this pole here, and then you gotta do the long jump over the tower like Curbs did there.
Yeah, that long jump, not too difficult once you get the hang of it. However, the camera is pretty garbage there, and it can actually be very scary to do, even if it's not too difficult.
But we see Curbs finishing up the first phase of the Mecha Wiggler boss fight, and we see Suisaiga about to start up the Mecha Wiggler boss fight here. Okay, Curb is about to finish off the portion of the fight where the Mecha Wiggler just runs across the floor, and then he's going to be aiming to get this 2 cycle here. Let's see if he gets a good pattern. Okay, I don't know. This looks like a good pattern. I don't know. He's wrapping around himself a bit. Curbs making this...
but it...
Oh no. This is a pretty bad... Yeah, this is a bad pattern for Curbs. Is he going to be able to make this work? Oh my god, that was kind of close. Okay. Curbs getting that 2 cycle.
So, yeah, like I said, the pattern is RNG dependent, and that the Wiggler wrapped around himself there, which can be very hard to deal with. As you saw there, it almost led to Curbs getting a 3 cycle, which would have been a very, very easy lead change for Sui, assuming he got the 2 cycle, which he did. So, yeah, that could have been very disastrous.
Yeah, he came probably like 2 or 3 seconds away from getting a 3 cycle, I'd say. So that was very, very close. But both runners are going to be starting up the day metro part of the kingdom here. The most notable thing we're going to be seeing coming up here is Scooter Clip. That's going to be coming up after this first capture warp that the runners are going to do here. So LilKirbs setting up for the capture warp here.
Yeah. Similar to the thing we did in Sand, the idea there is to get a moon, or to hold Cappy out in front of an object while we get a moon, so that we can home and capture that object right as we'll actually be seeing another one right up here after Scooter Clip.
Yeah, and Curbs getting a very good Scooter Clip here. Not having any issues, getting the drive-by. That's exactly what you want to see here. Let's see if Suisaiga can do the same. No, Suisaiga not getting the drive-by. Having to do an awkward backup. This moon is extremely awkward to back up and extremely hard to back up, because to get this moon, you're having to tilt the controller pretty much completely upside down. So, very unfortunate that Suisaiga missed that. That's a huge time loss for him.
actually did back it up pretty well. That moon, I've seen people spend like upwards of 20 seconds trying to back it up. Looked like it was pretty decent from him though.
And it looks like both runners are going to be doing the early musicians route, where you choose to do the musicians first and then warp to the top of the tower or the skyscraper after grabbing the second musician. But instead of just choosing to do musicians at the end, this saves about a second because you're avoiding a loading zone.
Yeah. These musician moons are pretty slow. However, they're basically all we have right now. We haven't found a viable way to skip them. We do have a route that skips the musicians. However, it is just way too hard to even think about going for in runs currently.
Yeah, it's incredibly difficult and pretty much just relies on a perfect vector over to the Pauline Park, so it's not useful in runs currently.
Yeah, for now, we're just stuck with these slow musician moons.
But Curb's gonna be climbing the skyscraper here and grabbing some moons along the way.
Yeah, so while they're making their way through Metro Kingdom here, I would just like to quickly mention our sponsor, GG. You can type !bet in the chat, learn more information. You can bet on these races and potentially win some money, of course making sure that you're legal age and residence to do.
Yeah, exactly. And Curbs is going to be moving on to the People's Room here, having to grab 2 more moons before warping to the Odyssey. This is the loading zone I was talking about earlier that we're skipping. In the other route, you have to enter and exit this room via that doorway there. And in this route, you're able to just enter the room and then warp out, skipping the loading zone.
Yeah. So with that, Curbs finishing up Metro. Sorry, I cut you off there.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so far this is being a very impressive run from Curbs, getting a 30 exit here, an exit in the 30-minute mark, which is just incredible. Getting a low 30 exit here, absolutely incredible.
Yeah, this is a pretty great run from Curbs so far. Sui trailing behind, however, he can make this up, especially coming up in snow here. There is one trick that can potentially shift this lead, but we'll talk about that when we get to it.
Yeah, both runners moving on to the Snow Kingdom now. Hey, Curbs letting in the Snow Kingdom right now. Gonna be talking to Captain Toad before entering into Ship Area and grabbing some moons in there.
Yeah. Snow Kingdom has a lot of slow story moons with a lot of cutscenes. Unfortunately, it's just kind of the way it goes with this kingdom. There's not a whole lot of moons to choose from before achieving peace in this kingdom, so we're kind of forced to get these pretty slow, inconvenient moons. There's nothing we can really do about it.
Yeah, this kingdom probably has the least amount of moons before peace out of every kingdom, so we just gotta grab whatever we can and kind of just make do.
Yeah. So we're actually gonna see Curbs not going for this shop moon. In the old route, without this snow dram jump, we would get this shop moon first. But as you see, Curbs actually skipping it, opting to get it a little bit later and go for a snow dram jump, which is probably the hardest jump in this game that's in the run.
Yeah, for sure. A lot of the timing for this trick is very precise, and any little mistake on it can definitely cause you to miss it.
Yeah. Alright, so Curbs entering the what the community calls the Blowy Joey room. again, cycle-based room. Luckily, Curb is able to make the cycle there.
And let's see if Suisaiga can do the same coming up here. He has to grab one more moon before entering into this blow-jigger room. Oh, and it looks like Suisaiga actually opted to go for the moon clip here, not getting
Oh,
it.
he misses it. Yeah,
Okay.
similar to the moon clip in Cascade and Wooded there. Just to save a little bit of time there, but unfortunately he didn't get it.
Yeah, that moon clip being very minuscule, I think it only saves about a second. It's probably the most minuscule moon clip in the entire run. Very few runners go for that. That's why I was surprised he goes for it. I think like the only other runner I can think that goes for it is like Acrid. That's like the only other one I can think of. Off the top of my head.
Yeah, since that moon clip is actually in World Peace, and Suisaiga does run World Peace sometimes, looks like his World Peace practice may be coming in handy there a bit.
But Curbs halfway through this Goomba room here are going to be doing a roll cancel triple jump to jump over the void here, and then make it over to the story moon before going to the shop, and then warping to the Odyssey to set up for Snow Jam. And Suisaiga stacking the Goombas here, and then gonna be going to the shop, and then gonna be setting up for Snow Jam as well.
So yeah, like we mentioned, Snowdram is incredibly precise, and just to add on top of that, not only is it incredibly difficult, but missing it, there is no backup other than just warping up and trying it again, so missing it is very costly.
Yeah, it costs, like, every time you miss it, you lose about 15 seconds. So if you miss it a couple times in a row, before you know it, you'll be, like, losing a full minute.
Yeah, for sure.
Curb is going to be doing this very quick setup here. He's going to be going for the Snowdram. Ooh, that was close, but he managed to get on top of the island, get the trick first try, and then continue on to the Seaside Kingdom. Let's see if Suisaiga can do the same here. Going to be warped into the Odyssey to set up for Snow Jam. Suisaiga doing his camera setup here, getting the Cappy Vault, and it looks like he did make it.
Nice. So fortunately, both runners able to get it. That's probably one of the scariest parts of the run, so it's a good thing that they both managed to make that jump.
Yeah, for sure. If Curbs wouldn't have missed that there, that definitely would have put Suisaiga in the lead. So Curbs still keeping up his incredible pace that he's on here. He could even be potentially on PB pace. Like, I can't think of a single mistake Curbs made so far.
Yeah, this is a very good run from Curbs. Low 30 exit from Metro, so probably looking at a low 101 pace, assuming that he keeps this up.
Yeah, for sure. This is an incredible run from Curbs. Like, there's just nothing else to say other than he's just playing, like really, really good, if not, like, near perfect right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So, heading into Seaside here, not much in this kingdom, aside from one trick, Rocket Flower Refresh, that we'll be seeing in a second. But yeah, this kingdom is kind of straightforward, kind of a breather before Luncheon and onward.
No. Commentators curse.
Yeah, that's the Commentator's curse coming into play there. However, that doesn't lose too much time. However, that is pretty unfortunate. So yeah, like I was saying, Seaside is kind of the, I guess, breather kingdom before Luncheon and onwards.
Oh no, Suisaiga making the same exact mistake as Curbs here. And Curbs
oh no!
Oh, Curbs missing the Rocket Fire Refresh entirely, having to go out of his way to grab Discussion to move over to capture the Cheep here.
A lot of Commentator's curse going on here.
Most people think Seaside is probably the easiest kingdom, but as you can see, the first half of this is just a complete nightmare to get properly, especially on the level that both these runners are on. The second half definitely being like really easy. All you gotta do is swim with the fish, but the first half
Yeah.
really a nightmare.
However, the fish movement can actually be a little tricky sometimes because if you fish bonk, I believe it's about a second every time you fish bonk, so I can lose you some time there. But yeah, it's definitely pretty easy to get through. You're not going to be losing a whole lot of time in this water movement.
Yeah, for sure. As long as you just stay out of the way from just walls and just play it just a little bit safe, you'll definitely come out of this fish section clean.
Yeah.
And we can see Curbs doing that, going to be grabbing one more moon before warping to the Odyssey and moving on to the Luncheon Kingdom.
Yeah, I'd say luncheon and onwards is probably like where the run gets really, really hard. Luncheon, of course, just incredibly difficult. Lots of run can lose a ton of time there, as well as, of course, Bowser's and Moon. So yeah, gets pretty difficult from here. Let's hope that both runners can pull it off.
Yeah, for sure. But we can see Suisaiga needing to grab one more moon before warping to the Odyssey, and then going to be moving on to the Luncheon Kingdom as well.
So yeah, entering Luncheon here, probably the most notable thing is Turnip Clip, which we'll be seeing, as well as a lot of other tiny things that we'll be seeing. Lots of chances to mess up in Luncheon.
Yeah.
It's definitely a very hard kingdom.
Yeah, and the first notable thing that we're going to be seeing here is triple jump. Curbs, I believe, having the BTT segment for this part, so I did not expect them to mess it up. Doing that very, very quickly, and moving on to the moon right here before Spewer.
Yeah, Spewer, this is one of the few brutal fights in the run that we have not found a faster way to remove it, so we're kind of forced to do it for now. I have hoped that someday we'll be able to find a faster way to skip this fight.
And Suisaiga getting the Salt Power Clip right there as well. It's definitely keeping himself in this race. Suisaiga is not too far behind at all. Like, just one mistake from Curbs could definitely put Suisaiga back in the lead.
Yeah, for sure. Especially in a kingdom like Luncheon.
But for now, we gotta see Suisaiga fight Spirit, and we get to see Curbs finishing up Spirit here. Okay, Curb is going to be entering the sub... Oh, taking a bonk there, very unfortunate. But going to be entering into the sub area. Needing to grab one moon behind the door here. And then we're just going to be leaving. We're only going to be grabbing one moon here.
Yeah. A lot of this movement here can be pretty tricky. I've actually fallen down here many times before into the lava below, so yeah. Can definitely be pretty disastrous if you fall here.
And now we see Curb is grabbing this crate moon here before throwing a turnip into the pot here and making a moon spawn by doing that.
Yeah, and as you see there, he actually bonks into the side of the pot there, into the moon. That actually does save just a tiny bit of time. By bonking, you're grabbing the moon lower to the ground, which means you can land faster and backflip faster. Again, it's very minuscule time save, but you know, every little optimization counts in a run this optimized.
Yeah, for sure. Now we see Curbs moving on to the fourth room here. As long as he doesn't die in this room, he should be fine. It's like the biggest thing that can go wrong here is definitely just a death.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it looks like Kirby's getting through this fork room very clean here, no issues at all. Keeping his incredible pace that he is on.
Yeah, and now he will be coming up on turnip clip. This trick can be pretty difficult. It looks easier than it is. You have to be in a pretty precise spot in order to get it, so yeah, let's hope that he's able to pull it off.
Yeah, gonna be grabbing the white turnip here, and then gonna be putting the turnip in front of the cage where the moon is here. Then gonna be grabbing a Pambro and putting him in between the turnip and the cage, and then he's gonna be able to clip into the cage by doing that. He's not, Curb's not able to kill the Spiny here, but luckily able to just avoid him entirely and not having that be an issue.
And a very clean turnip clip from Curbs. One of the biggest things that can go wrong there is to either break the turnip or kill the Panbro, both of which lose a lot of time. So luckily, neither of those happened.
Let's see if Suisaiga can do the same here. Suisaiga getting the turnip right next to the pot right now. And then he's going to be capturing the Panbro. And let's see if he's able to get the clip here. This looks good. Yep, able to get that clip very quickly. And now we see Curbs grabbing this one here. Getting up to the top of the tower here is very difficult, but he's able to pull it off very clean there. It's very easy to take the bonk and fall into the Pepto-Bismol bonk below there.
Yeah, absolutely. Luckily, he's able to get it there, and he's heading towards the end of Luncheon Kingdom. So Sui having a pretty nice turnip clip there as well. Let's see if he can make it through the rest of Luncheon with no issues.
Okay, let's see if Suisaiga can get this movement without taking a bonk and dying. Yeah, looks like it. Both runners finishing up the Luncheon Kingdom very clean here.
Yeah, pretty clean Luncheon Kingdom from both runners. Nothing huge going wrong for either runner, which is very fortunate. This is one of the kingdoms that lots can go wrong, so it's a good thing that both runners were able to pull it off pretty cleanly.
Both runners are moving on to the Ruined Kingdom now. There's not too much to say about this kingdom. It's just a very basic dragon boss fight. Not too much going on here. As long as you don't do anything stupid, you should be able to make it out of here alive and continue the run.
Yeah. So, yeah, Ruined Kingdom, pretty straightforward. Of course, as we always say, the auto-scroller kingdom. Although my dog sounds pretty excited about it. Yeah, not much going on here in Ruined. Basically, just little tiny optimizations like you will see here. Curbs will be jumping onto the dragon while it's still in its invulnerable state, so that he'll be able to grab the sword right as he becomes vulnerable again. Just like tiny little optimizations like that, since this kingdom doesn't have a whole lot to it.
Yeah, there's very little you can do to speed up this dragon fight other than damage boosting onto him early. That's like really the only way you can speed up this fight.
Yeah, for sure. Not much going on here. However, it is a pretty cool boss fight, I do have to say.
Yeah, for your first time playing through it, it definitely is a lot of fun, but whenever you do as many runs as these guys, it's kind of just like a sad scroller kingdom and kind of boring, honestly.
For sure. For sure. It can get pretty boring when you do speedruns of this game. Despite how cool this boss fight is, when you've done as many runs as LilKirbs or Suisaiga, it definitely can get pretty boring pretty fast.
But Curbs finishing up that dragon fight without many issues at all, and he's going to be moving on to the Bowser's Kingdom. I'd say probably the scariest kingdom left in the run.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, without question. So much stuff can go wrong here in Bowser's. Most notably Mech, which we'll get to, but yeah, definitely pretty scary kingdom. So let's hope that both runners can pull it off.
Yeah, there's just, other than mech, there's just a lot of small stuff that can go wrong. Like taking in Death Anywhere can lose a ton of time, and just messing up movement as well can just lose a ton of time as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
I do want to mention, I think Curbs got the Bowser's Kingdom IL world record in his last race, so we'll have to see what he's able to pull off here. I definitely wouldn't be surprised if we see like a really good Bowser's from him.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, Curb's on pace to get a very good time here. Assuming everything goes smoothly for the rest of the run. Yeah, this could be a very good time. So SuisaigaW also leaving Ruin right behind Curbs.
Okay, Curb is coming up to this Ogre Moon coming up in a second. It's going to scale this wall. And then he's going to be killing the Ogre coming up here and then going to be grabbing Story Moon.
That, yeah, similar to Snow Kingdom, Bowser's Kingdom kind of forces you to get these slow moons. You can't do much about it.
Yeah, this is one of the kingdoms where I believe we're forced to get complete world peace to complete it.
Yeah.
But Curb is coming up to the shards portion of the run of the kingdom. This is the part where if you don't do the movement properly, you can lose little bits of time everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd say this is the most movement intensive part of Bowser's is shards.
But it looks like Curb is getting a pretty good shard so far. No issues that I can see. Going to be grabbing this last shard using the Pokeyell, and then going to be moving on to the Harriet and Copper boss fights.
Yeah. There actually is a thing that can happen here where your hat can capture the bird on the way back to you there, but luckily that didn't happen to Curb. So Sui will now be entering shards as well. And will be in brutal. Fortunately, he's currently. Are actually having a little bit of technical issues on our side, but it's looking like everything is fine now.
Yeah, I think Discord was having a little bit of lag there.
Yeah,
Unfortunately.
our apologies for that, but it looks like everything is fine now.
Looks like both runners having a clean, or it looks like Curves had a clean Harriet and Topper, and it looks like SuisaigaW had a good Harriet.
Yeah.
SuisaigaW moving on to the Topper boss fight right now. And Curvet's going to be moving on to get the crate here. This is probably being like the scariest moon left in the kingdom, except for Mecha Brutal, but this is like the scariest standalone moon. Because you could definitely take a death here if you don't do your triple jump properly. Let's see what Curve is able to do. Yeah, getting that moon without much trouble at all. And then going to be moving on to the Tokyo climb part of the kingdom. But Curbs has to do a blind jump here. The camera does not cooperate at all, just like in the Night Metro Tower. You have to do that jump completely blind and just kind of hope you make it.
Yeah, but he gets it there, no issues. So now heading into Mech, which is, of course, probably one of the hardest parts of the run. Basically, the idea here is that you're supposed to get a bird and use that to climb up the mech and kill these brutals off one by one, but that is incredibly slow, so of course the faster way to do it also happens to be the incredibly difficult way to do it, which is to climb it up without the bird.
Yeah, this is, especially with all the stats we've added on top of just regular bird lists. It's very difficult. So much can go wrong here, especially if Curbs opts to go for Harriet third and target acquired. That can definitely potentially cost him to fall off the mech and lose like upwards of a full minute.
Yeah, absolutely. Depending on how you back it up, falling off mech can lose a lot of time.
And it looks like Curbs is opting to go for a Harriet third in target acquired. Let's see if he's able to get the spin pound on top of Spirit here, and he's able to get it.
Very nicely done. That is very hard, much harder than it looked. You have to get very... Oh no! SuisaigaW actually having a little bit of trouble with a mech climb here. Yeah, target acquired can be extremely difficult. You have to get some very quick dives and then an extremely fast spin pound in order to pull it off. Curbs got it there. SuisaigaW having a little bit of trouble on this mech climb, but he gets it, and it's looking like it is going clean now. Just had a little bit of trouble with the climb, but now that he's on top, it looks to be going pretty well.
Yeah, and Curb is going to be moving on to the Moon Kingdom. This is the final kingdom in the run. If he's able to play this clean, he should be able to secure himself a victory.
Yeah. However, Moon Kingdom does have its own things that can happen. There's the moon skip at the beginning, which a few missed attempts on that can lose a bunch of time. Ooh, SuisaigaW getting that target acquired, very nice. So yeah, there's the moon skip. Then there's also the Bowser fight. Missing cycles on that fight can lose a bunch of time. Then there's the 2D skip and pillars. All of those can lose a bunch of time if you don't do them optimally.
Yeah, for sure. If you mess any of those up, you could, if you mess any of those up significantly, you could definitely be losing upwards of a minute.
Yeah. So this is looking like a low 101 pace for Curbs, which is very exciting for a race. And looking probably like a 102 pace for SuisaigaW. So for now, Curbs stays in the lead. However, like I said, anything can happen in Moon Kingdom. There's a lot of stuff that can go wrong. So let's see what happens.
Yep, and Curb is going to be landing in the Moon Kingdom right now. He's going to be starting off the kingdom by doing a triple jump with vectors to get over to the platform just a little bit quicker.
Yeah, similar to in Cap Kingdom with the frog vectors. The same concept is used here. We'll be vectoring over.
Oh no!
Oh no! Oh no! Oh,
he's
able to save it. He's able to save it and not die. However, that is still a pretty big time loss there. That long jump over that gap is way slower than the triple jump. But luckily he did not die. That was very scary. Yeah, like I said, just because it's the final kingdom does not mean that it is a secured win at all.
Yeah, Curb's having great reaction time there and able to back that up very quickly.
Yeah. Alright, so now this moon skip, not a moon skip, that's the name of the trick, but it's just it's just skipping the moon cave. even though it's not that difficult of a trick, it actually saves probably the most time out of any trick in the game.
Yeah, I believe it saves about 5 minutes just because of how long the entire moon cave actually is.
Yeah, the moon cave is incredibly long. So yeah. However, that moon skip, it's not too difficult. However, it looks easier than it is. You have to wall jump in the correct spots. You cannot just wall jump anywhere on that wall and make it. There's very specific spots that you have to wall jump.
Yeah, exactly. And Kirby's finishing up the first phase of this Bowser fight. Now he's having to wait out the fire phase here. There's nothing really you can do to speed up this phase. Just gotta jump over Bowser's fire, and then move on to the next phase of the fight.
Yeah. Doing his signature spin jump strat on that fire. Love to see it. Now, yeah, this is, not much to say here. It's basically the same thing that we saw in Cloud Kingdom, just with an added little extra fire cycle thing. Oh no! Oh no! Commentators curse coming in once again, missing a cycle there. Suisaiga able to make up some time on him if he gets his Bowser fight. Good.
Yeah. What happened there was, I think he moved too close to Bowser while he was punching him and just ran right into one.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, and if you run into Bowser there, it causes him to jump far away, and you have to redo the entire punching thing again.
Yeah, that's probably about 10 seconds or more that Curbs just lost.
Yeah, definitely very unfortunate.
Yeah.
Let's see if he's able to pull off this last cycle cleanly, though.
Looks good.
Yeah, this looks good as long as he doesn't take any damage to the fire. And this should be good. Kirby's going to be moving on to the escape sequence. Probably the scariest part left is 2D skip. If he's able to get that, then he should secure himself a victory.
Yeah. Yeah. He's able to exit the Bowser fight ahead despite that little mess up with the Bowser cycle. However, it is looking like this race will be closer than it looked before.
Yeah, for sure. If Kirby messes up pretty much anything in this escape here, including even just having a bad pillar rim, that could cost him the win.
Yeah.
Kirby's moving on to the 2D section here. This next trick is extremely important for him to get first try. He has to get 2D skip here first try. If he does not, that will cost him the win because that'll lose him upwards of a full minute.
Yeah. If he misses 2D skip here, very disastrous. And he gets it. Okay. Not too difficult of a trick, but very scary, especially at the very end of the run. It can be very scary. So luckily he's able to get that. And let's hope Sue can do the same.
Yeah, Kirby is going to be moving on to the pillar room here, and then finishing off the run and hopefully securing himself a victory.
Yeah. And it is looking like perhaps a 1:01 1x pace for Curbs, which is amazing. Very good time, assuming he gets these pillars good. Sui making his way through the 2D section, getting 2D skip as well, and going to be entering pillars. And it looks like they'll be in the pillar room at the same time, showing how close this race was.
Yeah, it looks like Kirby's going to play roughly maybe like 10 or 15 seconds off his PB, which is just absolutely incredible for a race.
Yeah, that's amazing. Especially considering some of the mistakes he made. This could have been a PB if his late game was a little bit cleaner. And of course that Bowser cycle that he missed. This could have potentially been a PB for him.
Yeah, for
Very
sure.
accessible.
His PB being a 1:01.01. So he played 13 seconds off that in this race. Definitely a very impressive run from him.
Yeah, even with just a cleaner Moon Kingdom, that could have been a PB. And Suisaiga also finishing with an amazing time, actually with a 1:01. Looking like a 1:01 4x. We'll see. Looking like a 47 or 48. I think that's a 48, so very good. Wow. Amazing. Amazing times from both runners.
Oh wait, I think Suicide. Oh, never mind. I got mixed up. Sorry, but we have LilKirbs in the call right now for a post-race interview. How you feel about your run, Curbs?
I'm a little sad I didn't get the 100 with that, but I mean it's a new race PB, so I'll take it. But
Yeah,
it was a good run overall. A little sloppy in early game, but that's understandable. I was a little bit nervous coming into this race because I know Sui is super good and super consistent. So I'm happy
yeah,
overall.
for sure. Yeah, that, you know, even, with the missed Bowser cycle in Moon, you played like 13 seconds off your PB, so that was that PB pace entering Moon?
Yeah, that was so my PB right now is a 10101, and according to my calculations, it was like 10055 pace, if I remember correctly. But
Oh,
at the
wow.
beginning of Moon, I screwed up the vectors a little bit, and then the Bowser hit. After that vector thing, I kind of knew I couldn't get a 100 anymore, so I was fine with
Yeah.
the Bowser mistake.
Yeah, for sure. But that's still an amazing race time. Like you said, race PB for you. Low 101 in a race, 13 seconds off your PB, very respectable. Yeah, very nicely done.
Thank you.
And do you have anything else you want to say about your run?
Not really. I guess I get a little bit of a break now, since the grand finals will be in January. But I'll definitely continue grinding for that 100, and maybe.
Yeah, I would definitely. Yeah, I would definitely recommend trying to practice up for that grand final, so you can potentially win the entire tournament.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Alright, well,
I would like to shout out our sponsor one more time, Vi.gg. Use !bet in the chat to get more information about them, and make sure you are of a little legal betting age in whatever country you are living in. And that's all from us. I believe. Yeah. I believe
thanks
coming
again,
up next.
LilKirbs.
Yeah, sorry.
I was just gonna say thank you again, LilKirbs, for joining us, and GG on your win.
Thank you. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It looks like we have Super Metro Losers Final Match coming up next. Yeah, that's today, sorry. And yeah, have a great rest of your day, guys.